Hey beautiful friends, welcome back to another Vinyasa practice. My name is Sarah. Today's class is going to be, I'm so excited for it. It's going to be a short taster of our Pincha Mayurasana, which is our feathered peacock pose, otherwise known as shoulder stand. Now, some of you guys have messaged me asking me to make a flow about this because it is quite a challenging inversion asana. And I'm really excited to be able to play with you because it's going to be fun and dynamic and a bit challenging as well. We're going to be working on opening through the shoulders and the front body, working on core strength as well as lengthening the hamstrings. That's in the physical aspect of it. But we're also going to be focusing on increasing our concentration and our focus, our breath awareness, which inversions naturally help us with. Now, before we get started in our practice today, on July the 1st, which would have been a couple of days ago, we launched our Patreon account. Now, if you've been wanting to support me and this channel along our journey of producing free classes on YouTube, this is a great place where you can do so. So what you will get out of subscribing to a monthly membership or a one-off payment is that if you subscribe to the second or the third tier, you will get a longer form video of this class. We'll be producing one long form video per month. Now with this, you get the deeper range of what yoga is about. So it's not just the asana practice. We'll be diving into more of pranayama and meditation, which are essential to our yoga practice, as well as a little bit of philosophy. We might even be talking about chakras, all that kind of stuff that a shorter video we can't really get it in on time. I've just noticed that YouTube tends to prefer the shorter videos in its algorithms. And so, yeah, if you're wanting to explore a little bit more, feel free to head over there. Would love to have your support along this journey. In saying that, let's get started in our asana practice. We are going to get started in a Vajrasana, which is a kneeling position. If you have a block with you, feel free to bring that in, but know that this is totally optional. We are only going to be using it for the setup for our Pincha Mayurasana. Sit down on the heels if that feels comfortable, otherwise find another seated position. And start to close down the eyes. Find length through the spine. And just start to take a couple of deeper breaths here. So inhaling through the nose, feeling the air expand the lungs, which pushes down on the diaphragm, feeling like the belly expanding out, feeling the ribs also expand to all four corners of your mat, the chest expanding out and then up. And then feeling the drawing within on the exhale. And just take a couple more breaths like that. I was listening to a teacher recently and they were saying that the whole of our practice, our asana practice, is a breathing exercise. So even though we can sit down and practice pranayama, one of the best things that we can do is move through different asanas because that's going to challenge our breath in terms of where we can expand, where we can breathe a little bit deeper. Especially in today's quite dynamic class, this is going to be quite prevalent. Begin to notice where your attention may be. And see if you can pull your focus into this present moment. If you've noticed that it's away. I like to use the word encourage. It's a very positive spin rather than forcing the attention to come. The more that we can treat ourselves with kindness and compassion, the more easeful our practice becomes. Just take about 3 to 5 more deep breaths here. Maybe you even find your Ujjayi pranayama, so the constriction of the back of the throat that we try to practice through our asana practice today. You might be able to hear it over the microphone, but it kind of sounds like a wave or a snore. It's really audible, so that gives your mind something to anchor itself in this present moment. Try to let go of any tension that you may be holding in the face, in the jaw, and the shoulders. One more deep breath. Filling up, lengthening, expanding on the inhale. Feeling that pull inwards on the exhale. Start to crack open the eyelids. We're going to clasp the hands together. Take a big breath in, reach the knuckles high. As you exhale, can you flip the palms and press the hands towards the ceiling or the sky, wherever you're practicing today. Inhale, try to lift a little bit taller, nip the ribcage in. As you exhale, can you lean over towards the right? Try one more breath here. Feeling the left ribcage lift off the hips. Let's try the other side. So inhale to lift and lengthen. Exhale, lean over towards the left this time. One more breath. And then when you're ready, just releasing the hands. Big breath in, sweep the right hand high. As you exhale, can you bend the right elbow, bring it towards your mid-back. Now you can stay here. You could bring the left hand towards the right elbow. If you're feeling open enough, you might even be able to take the left hand behind the back to maybe clasp onto the right fingertips, maybe not. You might be somewhere in between and just clasp fabric, or you can have a strap here if you'd like. Start to lift yourself up onto your knees. Take a big breath in, lift up tall. As you exhale, shift the weight into the right foot as you lift the left leg up. Place the left foot forward and sink down into an Anjaneyasana. You're pressing through your right foot here to open through the right hip flexor. Big breath in, can you lift up and press the head back onto your right elbow. Exhale to sink a little bit deeper. If you want here, you can try a little side bend. Inhale. Exhale, maybe you lean over towards the left slightly. Let's release the bind of the hands. Inhale, turn towards your left leg. We're going to try a twist. Either right hand can come to the ground. If you're feeling okay and warm enough, your right elbow could hook around the outside of the left leg. Maybe hands come to prayer, or option to extend the right arm out long. Final option here to tuck onto the right toes and lift the right knee off. Take one more big breath in through the nose, reach the crown of the head forward. As you exhale, can you try twist that left shoulder back a little bit more? Nice. Right hand is going to come to the ground. Left hand comes to the ground. Big breath in. Exhale, step back into your high plank position. Press through the heels. Start to walk the hands forward towards the top of the mat. Spread the fingertips wide. Maybe you wiggle the toes back slightly as well. Try protract the shoulder blades away from each other here. So that means that they slide away. Try big breath in. On your exhale, either knees or toes, see if you can lower the elbows towards the ground, maybe both at the same time, maybe one at a time. Big breath in at the bottom. As you exhale, try press through the hands, coming back up into your high plank. 2 more times, inhale. Exhale, lower down, tuck the elbows in slightly so they're in line with the wrists. Inhale at the bottom. Exhale, press up to lift. Scoop the belly button in, inhale. Last time, exhale, lower down. Hold here. Big breath in, press out of the ground. As you exhale, see if you can draw the chest down, squeeze the shoulder blades together. So we're retracting the shoulder blades here. Inhale, lift up, protract. Exhale, retract. 2 more times, inhale. Exhale. Inhale, lift up. Exhale. Nice. Let's bring the knees to the ground if they aren't already. Lower the sit bones towards the ground. Sphinx pose. which is our Salamba Bhujangasana, our supported cobra pose. Now you can stay on the elbows. If you want a little bit more, see if you can press up into the palms to find your seal pose. You're squeezing your glutes here and try not to overarch through the lower back. So draw the ribs in slightly, but keep pulling the shoulder blades back. Option to stay with both hands on the ground. If you wanted a little bit more, engage through the core and see if you can lift the right hand on a 45-degree angle. Big breath in. Option to stay here, or you can bend the right knee, take the right hand around to clasp at the ankle. Maybe you pull the right foot in a little bit more. If you feel any pinching through the lower back or anywhere else, please let this go. 2 more breaths. Draw the shoulders down the spine. Peel the right foot a little bit closer towards you. Find your Ujjayi Pranayama. And then when you're ready, lower yourself towards the ground. Release the foot, hands by the ribs. Press up onto the knees, tuck onto the toes. Lift the hips up and back. Ardha Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Spread the fingertips wide here. You're pressing into the knuckles, fingertips. Soften the knees, but press the heels down towards the ground. So we're not locking the legs out. And those who are hypermobile or hyperflexible will often kind of lean into the flexibility. We want to give a soft bend of the legs, and that just encourages the tension of the ligaments and the tendons in our joints. Same action with the shoulder blades. Can we try lift them up slightly? Let's try one more breath. Maybe you bring your eye gaze, your drishti in between the feet. When you're ready, lower the knees down towards the ground. Lower the heels down, and we're going to try that on the other side. So breathe in, sweep the left hand high. Exhale, bend the left elbow. Again, either right hand could come on top, or you can sweep the right hand around. Maybe the hand binds on the bottom. See if you can lift up onto the knees, take a big breath in. As you exhale, shift the weight into the left leg. See if you can take the right foot up and step it forward. Anjaneyasana. At any point, you can release the hands down towards the ground. Inhale, lift tall, press back with the head. Exhale, maybe you sink the hips down a little bit further, but try not to go too low here. Keep pressing through the right foot. Release the hands on your breath in. As you exhale, find your twist of choice. I find it a little bit easier to twist here if my back knee is off the ground. So you just find your variation of choice. Can you lift up and out of your waist here? Take one more breath. Maybe lift the eye gaze as well over your right shoulder. Turn towards the ground, place the left hand down, press the right hand down, step the right foot back as lightly as you can. Step the hands out and maybe step the feet out as well. Finding the hollowing of the back here. You want to squeeze the glutes, take a big breath in. Exhale, lower the elbows down. Inhale. Exhale to lift. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. It's always the walk up that's the harder part, right? Inhale. Last time. Exhale. You're going to try those scapular shrugs again. So inhale, press out of the ground. Exhale, lower the chest down. Inhale to lift. Keep the spine neutral throughout this. Exhale to lower. Inhale to lift. Last time. Exhale to lower. Drop the knees down. Drop the hips down. Either our Salamba Bhujangasana, or you can press through the hands, finding our extended Utthita Bhujangasana. Shoulders pull back, nip the rib cage in slightly. Again, you could stay here or breathe in, sweep the left hand high. Maybe you stay here, or you can bend the left knee. Take the left hand around. If the left foot hooks into the elbow crease, you could always pull that in that way. Keep pressing through the right palm to lift you up. One more breath. When you're ready, let's release the foot. Bring the hand back down. Lower the chest down. Lower the foot down as well. Let's press up onto the knees. Tuck onto the toes of the hips up and back. Ardha Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Maybe a little pedal out the feet here feels good. feeling warm enough, this is going to be a slightly shorter practice. So we're not going to be able to go into full extent of warming the body before we practice. But if you do happen to feel warm enough, feel free to find your dolphin pose here. And what that is placing both elbows on the ground. See if you can draw the chest through. You're pressing firmly through your forearms. You might want to walk your feet in a little bit more here. We're going to come into our first kind of main sequence here. On your next breath in, either down dog or dolphin, can you reach your right toes high, three-legged dog. Exhale to hold. Inhale, can you lift the right foot a little bit higher? Exhale, roll yourself forward, right knee towards the nose. Step the right foot in between the hands. Place the left heel down, big breath in, Virabhadrasana 2. So your hips and shoulders are square towards the side. You can stay with your arms wide, or you can bring the right elbow up, maybe left elbow back. Big breath in. As you exhale, can you reverse your warrior? And as you reverse, keep pulling the right knee towards the front of the mat. Breathe in, draw the ribs in. Exhale, deepen a little bit more. Release the hands, pivot towards the front. Inhale, find your twisted variation. Exhale, maybe the left hand comes down the side, right hand can come up. If you're feeling warm enough, you could take the right hand behind. Maybe you find a bind by hooking the left hand underneath, clasping it with the right hand. If you do find this bind, can you pull on your hands and lift yourself up a little bit more? Let's try about 2 more breaths here. You're trying to find openness through the front body as much as we can. When you're ready, place the left hand down. Take a long step back with the right foot. Place both heels towards the left side of the mat. Right hand reaches high, Vashisthasana. Lift your hips up high. You can always bring the left knee down here if you need. Maybe lift your eye gaze towards the right hand. Squeeze the shoulder blades onto the back body. One more breath. Wow, and then when we're ready, start to pivot towards the mat. We're going to slide the right elbow towards the ground, but bring the fingertips to the left side of the mat. Pivot your heels towards the right. Lift your left hand high here. So side plank Vashisthasana, but on the elbow. Same thing, keep trying to lift the hips up high. Reach the left hand as high as you can here. One more breath. And then when you're ready, we pivot towards the top of the mat. Both elbows come down into our forearm plank. Spread the fingertips wide. Take a couple of breaths here. Press out of the ground. Shift the weight forward slightly. Big breath in. Exhale, bring the knees down, bring the hips down. Sphinx pose or seal pose. Or option to walk back into your cobra pose. Can you squeeze the heels towards each other? Draw the shoulder blades back. One more breath. When you're ready, lower yourself towards the ground, press up onto the knees, tuck onto the toes, send the hips up and back, Ardha Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Or if you wanted to try, you could bend the elbows and come into your dolphin pose. Draw the shoulder blades up the spine. Big breath in, let's sweep the left toes high here, three-legged dog. As you exhale, can you draw the left hip down a little bit more? Inhale, keep pressing through the back of the left heel. Exhale, roll yourself forward, pick the elbows up, left knee towards the nose, step the left foot in. Right heel comes down, inhale, Virabhadrasana 2. Exhale, open the arms wide. Again, you can stay with the arms open, or this time take the right elbow underneath, left hand on top. Inhale, lift up tall. As you exhale, can you lean back slightly? Keep pressing the left knee forward. Draw the ribs in. One more breath. Lots of opening for our shoulders. Inhale, turn towards the front of the mat, tuck onto the right toes. Exhale, your twist variation of choice. Maybe that's prayer. Maybe that's arms down. Maybe you wanted to find your bind here again. Again, can you try lift up here? It's really easy to lean into this pose because it is quite challenging. We want to lean up and out of our legs. One more breath. Release the right hand down towards the mat. We take a long step back with the left foot, drop the heels towards the right, lift the left hand high. Squeeze the glutes, lift the hand up high. We're trying to stack the left shoulder on top of the right shoulder. The top shoulder on top of the bottom shoulder. Same with the hips. Big breath in, lift up a little bit taller. Exhale, turn to the mat. Left elbow comes down, and then we open towards the right. So it's really important that our elbows are turning to the right. Sorry, the left fingers are turning towards the right. That's going to make it a little bit safer for our shoulder. One more breath. Lift up a little bit more. And then when you're ready, turn towards the front, forearm plank again. One more breath. Lower the knees, lower the hips, big breath in. Find your back bend of choice. Exhale. Nice. Lower yourself towards the ground, press up onto the knees, tuck onto the toes, lift your hips up and back. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. So that was our first flow. We're going to add on a little bit for our second flow, and then we get time to play. So option to stay in your down dog or find your way into your dolphin pose. Now this is our first opportunity to play with our Pincha practice. We're not going to go into full practice here. But what you can do, take a big breath in, sweep the right toes high. Start to look forward in between the hands. Maybe take a little hop forward. We're just going to try a little kick into the air. And then maybe you hold for a second, and then maybe you bring it down. And while you do that, think about pressing out of the elbows, lifting yourself up. It's okay if they're really small kicks. Just having a little play. If you're on your hands, maybe try hop into handstand. Anyway, let's all find ourselves with our right foot up. Big breath in. As we exhale, roll yourself forward, right knee into the nose. Set the right foot in between the hands. Place the left heel down. Inhale, open yourself up. Virabhadrasana 2. Inhale, bring the right hand high. Exhale, maybe the left hand underneath. Inhale, start to lengthen back. Exhale, Viparita Virabhadrasana. One more breath here. Start to lift yourself up, pivot towards the top of the mat, finding your twisted lunge again. We're not going to stay here for too long this time. Take a big breath in. As you exhale, release the left hand towards the top left corner of your mat. Start to shift the weight forward into your Parivrita Ardha Chandrasana. If you wanted to use a block underneath your left hand, you can. See if you can start to revolve the chest open towards the right a little bit more. You can absolutely stay here. You can rest. If you want a little bit more, see if you can bend to the left knee. Take the right hand around the left foot to clasp and then press away. So you're finding a bind. Keep trying to open the right shoulder back. If you wanted a little bit more, see if you can lift the left hand towards the front. You're finding kick with the left foot, reach with the left hand, lift with the chest. One more breath. Oh my goodness. Okay, left hand comes down. Step back into your plank, Vashisthasana. Right hand is lifted. Now you can stay here if you want a little bit more. See if you can bend the right knee. Maybe your peace fingers come around to clasp the right foot and then lift the right foot off. Oh my goodness. This is super challenging. We're lifting it out of the hip. One more breath here. Find your balance. When you're ready, place the right foot, the right hand down. Keep the right knee lifted. Sorry, right elbow comes to the ground. We find our side plank on our forearm, other side. Any point, you can bring the right knee down here. If you want the challenge, try keep the right knee lifted. Final option here. Take the left hand around the outside of the right foot. See if you can pull the right foot up towards the top of the mat. Nose might draw in the direction of the right knee. One more breath. Keep lifting through the hips. Nice. Let's all turn towards the front. This time, right knee comes down. We're going to find our pigeon pose. But rather than going down, we're going to stay lifted if possible. So take the fingertips out front, draw the left hip forward, right hip back. So this turns into more of a back bend here. Stay with the hands down if you want, or big breath in, sweep the hands high. Exhale, maybe you clasp the thumbs around each other and try to reach the hands up as high as you can. If you need to, you can always bring something underneath your right hip to give you a bit more support. 2 more breaths in our Ekapada Raja Kapotanasana. Find your focus, your concentration. When you're ready, hands come down your way back into your Ardha Mukha Svanasana or your dolphin pose. So you could take a Vinyasa. You can try any other variations. You could go straight back if you wanted to. Taking a moment or two just to gain focus. Connect back with your breath. And I'm going to try that all on the other side. So when you're ready, maybe you lower down into your dolphin pose. So again, elbows are in line with the hands, hands about shoulder width distance. Spread the fingertips wide. Breathe in, start to sweep the left toes high. And then if you wanted to try those kicks, maybe you hop forward a little bit. And then you just try a few kicks into the air. Let's try one more. Nice. Breathe in. Exhale, roll yourself forward. Left knee towards the nose. Step the left foot in between the hands. Drop the right heel down. Inhale. Virabhadrasana 2, exhale, bend the knees, press through the outer edge of that back foot. This time, left hand goes up, maybe right hand underneath. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, start to lean over. Left ribs come off the hip. One more breath. Can you press the head back into the elbow a little bit more? Release the bind. Turn towards your left foot, your lunge variation of choice. Just holding for a moment, find a breath. Start to look down towards the top of the mat. Take the right hand towards the right corner of the mat. Shift the weight forward. Lift up out of your left hip. Parivrita Ardha Chandrasana. Try find length through the spine here. So you lift your chest up. So ideally we're somewhere in line with the hips. Can you revolve the right shoulder underneath a little bit more? Again, option to stay here, or you could bend the right knee, take the left hand behind and see if you can kick up. So finding a bind. Right knee lifts as much as we can. See if you can keep twisting towards the left slightly. If you want a challenge, with the strength of the left leg, see if you can reach the right hand forward. Maybe it just hovers off the ground for a moment. One more breath. Bring the right hand down, long step back with the right foot. Left foot comes to meet it, splitting the feet wide. Left hand reaches. Again, right knee can come down. If you want the option, left knee can lift. Maybe peace fingers come around the left big toe and you extend up. Try one more breath here. Let's all bring the left elbow towards the ground. Turn towards the right. Reach the right hand high, big breath in, lift up tall, lift the hips. Exhale, hold. Bring the left knee down if you want. If you want the challenge, keep the left knee lifted. If you want an extra challenge, right hand comes around the outside of the left foot. See if you can lift the left foot high, hugging the nose towards the knee. It might be out a little bit more, and that's okay. One more breath. Slide the left knee down towards the top of the mat. Nice little reprise in our Eka Raja Kapottanasana. Right hip travels forward. Again, maybe come up onto fingertips to begin with. If that feels good, big breath in, sweep the hands high. Exhale, hold here. Keep pressing through the right foot into the ground. Can you find the ascension of energy up towards the fingertips? Finding our grace and elegance within challenge. When you're ready, hands come down. Let's all meet in a balasana. That feels nice at the moment, right? So maybe you vinyasa to find your way there. When you're ready, knees come down, shift the hips back. Connect with your breath again. Our asanas, they are tools to practice our focus. It's not about necessarily achieving whatever a perfect asana is, because again, there's no such thing as a perfect asana. What really matters here is our attention to which we practice with. And it is that which will provide liberation from the suffering that we can cause with our own mind and spirit. Let's take about 2 more breaths here. Try and make them deep and long. And then when you're ready, just walk yourself up. We're going to head into just a couple minutes or so of Pincha play. So our Pincha, like I kind of mentioned before, it is a very elegant pose. And it may not feel elegant. I certainly am still trying to find that. But once we keep practicing it, we understand our body more in space. Inversions are really great for practicing that, because we're like, whew, where are our legs? Where is our hips? Where is our core during those times? So yeah, really great for that. Try to remember to breathe. So if you've got a block, a great tool you may be able to use is taking your hands and between the thumb and the index finger, just pressing into the block and then down into the ground. And that really sets a good foundation. And if you don't have a block, that's absolutely no worries as well. Just bring your hands about shoulder width distance. Again, elbows want to come in. This may feel really challenging for shoulder mobility, but trust me, it's going to feel much more aligned and stable than compared to elbows out. If you feel quite challenged in this position already, maybe you just play with dolphin pose first to begin with, and then we can begin to work on more extensive ranges. What we're going to do, tuck onto the toes, and we're just going to play with lifting one leg and then maybe switching between the 2 legs. Maybe you find that just that kick up, finding that initial confidence. And what's really easy here to do, what we often see is the ribs trying to flare out and our shoulders dropping down. So press with the elbows, lift the shoulders, draw the ribs in. Just in your own time. Try bring your eye gaze in between the hands, or in between the middle of your forearms. And it's just a little kick. It's not super long. You can also do this against a wall if you're starting this for the first time. If you do find that your elbows are sliding out, I sometimes notice myself catching that. You can use a strap or a pair of leggings or something to bring tension into your elbows. We'll just have a couple more plays. Of course, you can practice this more in your own time. Wow. When you feel ready, just come back into a Vinyasa, maybe a child's pose. I don't know about you, but my heart rate, whew, it's fiery. So our Pincha is very good for unlocking and bringing energy to the top 3 chakras. So our throat chakra, third eye chakra, and our crown chakra. If you wanted to try the longer version, which I'll record on Patreon, I'll talk more about that then, and we'll also have more time to play in the longer form version as well. We're going to start to cool down, just a couple of asanas to give our upper body a bit of rest. Let's extend the right leg out, left foot comes in. We'll find a Vinyasa, head to knee pose. Big breath in, lift up tall. Can you breathe in a little bit more? And then exhale, fold yourself forward. Nose down in the direction of the knee. Find the tip from the hips to begin with. You're feeling the heart trace over the leg. Maybe the chin tucks in slightly. And once we've practiced quite intense and vigorous asana sequences, these slower asanas to cool down are just so sweet. I often find that, one, it can be really challenging to continue to bring focus in stiller postures, but at the same time, I find that warming up the body and the breath and the mind first allows me to settle in a little bit more. Start to walk yourself back. I'm going to try a twist by taking the left foot up and over the right thigh. This is our variation of our Ardha Matsyendrasana. Take a big breath in, lift up tall. As you exhale, maybe you either hug the right elbow in front of the left shin, or you could take the right elbow around the outside of the left thigh. Now you can stay here. If you wanted to try a half bind or a full bind, maybe you take the left hand around to meet with the right hip, and then maybe the right hand can scoop underneath or in the little hole that you've created with the left leg. Again, if you're using this bind, if you manage to find yourself in here, can you lift up tall on your inhale? As you exhale, can you use the bind to pull you a little bit deeper towards the left? One more breath. Return back to center. Let's try the other side. Extend the left leg out, right foot to the inner leg. Inhale, lift up tall. Exhale, walk forward. Left knee or the nose towards the left knee. And see if we can breathe into the back of the ribs here. One more breath. Walk yourself back. Let's take the right foot up and over the left thigh. Inhale, lift up tall. Exhale, find your twist of choice. And just see what happens when you close down the eyes here. Let's return back through center. We're going to head down onto our backs. And take any props with you to prepare for your Shavasana as you'd like. Roll yourself down. I'll provide one more option before we head into Shavasana, and that's to find our Salamba Savangasana, or our shoulder stand. If you're interested in this, take your hands by your sides, spread the fingertips wide, extend the feet up. Big breath in. As you exhale, press through the hands. You might start by just rocking the feet back slightly. Elbows come in, hands come towards the lower back, and then use the strength of the back of the legs to start to lift yourself up high. Maybe you'd like to point the toes here, bringing your eye gaze maybe to the big toes, maybe towards your belly button, maybe towards the nose. You're squeezing your glutes. Keep trying to breathe here. If you wanted to take this further, please feel free to. I'm going to start to roll down so I can spend a little bit longer in the Shavasana position. So feel free to do what you would like to do here. And that Savangasana is a great way to counter the very open of the throat, open of the chest in our Pincha Mayurasana. Find yourself in a comfortable position. Can you settle into the rhythm of your breath here? We'll just be here for a couple of minutes. I'll let you know when it's time to transition out. Just reflecting on the practice that has been. Have you noticed any shifts in energy? Notice the energy that you may be holding in the body, mind, and the spirit. Whatever experience you are having right now, you have had, know that there is no right or wrong answer. There is only what is. And we take that experience with acceptance and non-judgment. When you're ready, we're just going to start to move slowly, maybe breathe a little bit deeper. We'll meet in a seated position. Find space. Let's connect together. Hands might come to heart center. Big breath in through the nose. Exhale, maybe the chin tucks towards the chest, bringing attention to our heart space. Letting that lead us through the rest of the day as our guide and teacher. I thank you so much for practicing with me today. I hope you had fun. And if you wanted to experience a longer form video or class of that, then feel free to head over to Patreon. It'll be slightly longer and we can relish a little bit more in pranayama and a couple more cool down sequences and meditation at the end. Either way, I hope you enjoyed it and I hope to see you again sometime soon. From me to you, namaste.